Hey Padres fans, it's time for a brand new episode of Padres POV. Cue Hell's Bells because it's all about Trevor Hoffman as San Diego's favorite closer enters the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown. Tonight, I sit down with number 51, and he gives us insight into the days leading up to his special moment. Plus, your current Friars tell us just how much Hoffman means to them. And no one knows Trevor better than his older brother Glenn. He shares what it was like growing up with a future Hall of Famer. We have all that and more on this special Trevor Time episode of Padres POV. Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in to Padres POV. I'm Lisa Lane. From New York to right here in San Diego, you can feel the excitement as our very own Padre, number 51 himself, Trevor Hoffman, makes his way into the Baseball Hall of Fame. As a baseball player, there is really no bigger honor than to have a plaque put up in Cooperstown. But in typical Trevor style, he continues to stay humble and credit those around him. I had the chance to sit down with Hoffy and talk all things Hall of Fame. Take a look.
2-3, backhanded by the shortstop. Blum got a hurry, got him! Yes! 479! Rough the mark. 500 saves for Trevor Hoffman.
What an exciting year for you. Can you just take me through what the whirlwind has been like since you received the news?
Yeah, the journey's been a crazy one. Something I don't really prepare for, even though you're quietly preparing. Things are starting to become real, and that reality of making sure things are taken care of at home before you leave, speeches, clothing, attire for different events, how it's going to kind of all run, and not just for one day, but for 3 or 4 straight days is going to be a pretty intense, emotional experience that, I can't wait for it, but there's a part that I will enjoy when it's done to kind of look back and take a deep breath.
I know you were able to take a tour of the Hall of Fame. Is it crazy to imagine that you're going to be in there? It's going to be you.
They had a portion where we got to see certain artifacts and some part of the exhibit, and then you kind of went through the middle part of the museum, and there was this picture of the original class and how they were standing. And there's a particular area that you can sit, and so like you're sitting with that original class. And it just boggles my mind to think of a Babe Ruth and a Walter Johnson, a Cy Young. I mean, just to be mentioned in those names and then to actually see pictures of them, and then you're actually considered a Hall of Famer with them, it's just, I don't know, it's going to take a while to get my mind wrapped around that.
And you're going to be part of a very unique class, just being the 6th pitcher that's in a reliever role to be inducted. I mean, do you wrap your head around that when you look at some of the other guys that have come before you?
Really proud of the accomplishments that those guys were able to do in the game and to be part of that small selective group. I'm wondering if we have our own table. They talked about Tony going to the little singles hit table. Don't sit next to the power hitters like Hank and everybody else. And so it'll be. I'm assuming there'll be like a closer's table. So hopefully it'll be 5 guys, 6 guys sitting there. I'll just get another seat. So it'll be perfect.
That'll be fun. So have you been working on your speech, and what is that process like?
Not been easy. Most speeches that I've given at any particular event, it's kind of bullet points. It's a skeleton, and it's kind of ad lib. You kind of speak off the cuff of particular areas. And so I've always kind of searched, like, how am I going to fill the amount of time? That's flipped. It's like, how am I going to condense my career into 10 minutes and then put it basically verbatim, word for word. And so that's a little bit different. The process has been fine. Just, big pillars and work around it and the outline set and get it all done.
There's still more to come with the Hall of Famer. But first, it's time for the story behind the closer's infamous walkout song, Hell's Bells.
I was there talking to Tim Young, who was our director of entertainment at the time, down on the field prior to the start of the game. I believe we were playing the Rockies at the time, if I'm not mistaken. And Steve Finley approached us on the field and said, "Hey Tim, we'd love to get a song for Trevor. He feeds off the environment in the ballpark. We need to get him fired up coming out of the dugout. What can you come up with?" And Tim looked at me and said, "You're the music guy," and I've always had a self-proclaimed real interest in music outside of sports. Music's my other love. And so I went home that day and looked through a lot of CDs and found Hell's Bells and felt like it was the perfect time and the perfect song.
So Trevor Hoffman Hoffman will come on to pitch tonight. His team leads Houston 6-5.
July 25th, AC/DC's Hell's Bells, introduced for the first time as Trevor Hoffman's dramatic entrance song.
And Hell's Bells came on, I'm telling you, the ground was shaking. It was just a whole different atmosphere.
There was a little bit of a whoa factor, a wow factor with the crowd. When that first bell went off, it was almost like, what the heck just happened?
Oh, it's always good to be the first and the best, and you know, the Padres and Trevor nailed it.
You felt like you could almost float off the ground. I mean, you were so amped and ready to go, and you got goosebumps out there, even as a player.
It became kind of a show. The fact that it turned out as cool as it did is pretty neat.
There'll never be a better closer song in the history of the game.
That day, Hoffman struck out Moises Alou, tying Rod Beck's Major League record with his 41st consecutive successful save attempt.
And that's it.
Forever, Hell's Bells will be ringing in the Friar faithful's heads. Well, just ahead, Trevor talks about sharing his Hall of Fame moment with his entire family.
This in itself and the history of the game is going to be on such a grand scale that I think it's going to blow my family away as much as me.
Plus, the players send their well wishes to the man of the hour.
Everybody's always learning from you. You're the ultimate competitor, the ultimate closer, and hats off to you, man.
But first, it's time for your Friar Fun Fact. Did you know that Trevor Hoffman had a unique pregame ritual? Your Hall of Famer would always be seen working out in hospital scrubs. He would go on to work out in the same pair of scrubs for 15 years. Hey, if it works, it works.
Fly ball into left. Coming in is Briley. He's calling for it. He's got it. And the Marlins have won it 6-5.
Hey everyone, I'm Lisa Lane back here at Petco Park as we continue our special Trevor Hoffman Hall of Fame episode of Padres POV. This weekend, our favorite closer will be inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown. But first, our current Padres share what it's like to have a Hall of Famer around the clubhouse.
Trevor helped me a lot in spring training with my changeup. Just getting to be able to talk with him, pick the brain of a Hall of Famer. I mean, you don't get to do that every day.
He's always around the clubhouse. He's always in here spreading knowledge throughout the group. And, it's not every day a Hall of Famer gets to, eat lunch with you or have dinner with you after the game. And, he takes the time no matter who you are, one-on-one or as a group. And he's always giving back to the game.
When he shows up in the clubhouse, it's just a different kind of presence. It's just like, man, that's Trevor Hoffman. That's when he comes to work. He comes to, whether he's not even playing anymore, he's getting guys better. He's talking to guys about mentality, about pitching, about the way the game should be played.
He's great. He's someone we can always talk to, bounce something off of. He's taught us all little nuances that we can take and use as part of our game. There's things that I've taken from what he's told us in spring training and throughout the season that have kept us going and kept us on that right track.
Congratulations, Hoffy. It's well deserved. I mean, Cooperstown, we're all ready for your speech. We know it's going to be epic, and we're extremely proud, and we're honored to wear the San Diego Padres uniform, knowing you're going to represent us well in Cooperstown.
Trevor, congratulations. You deserve everything that they're giving you, and that making it to the Hall of Fame is just kind of the icing on the cake. So. Congratulations, and thanks for all you do for us.
Trev, I just want to say congrats on making the Hall of Fame. So well deserved. Just getting to know you over the past few years in the clubhouse, you bring so much energy to everybody. Everybody's always learning from you. You're the ultimate competitor, the ultimate closer, and hats off to you, man.
The players aren't the only ones with a message for Trevor. We sit down with his brother and Padres third base coach, Glenn Hoffman, who shares stories of what it's like growing up with a future Hall of Famer.
when you start mentioning Hall of Fame, it's over a 10-year, a 15-year span, and all of a sudden you go, well, Trev's getting close to that. Trev, he's going to have a shot. And we started thinking about it, and then all of a sudden he gets to 500 saves, and then he gets to 600 saves, and it's special because, you know, in this game, you play it, but this is the elite when you get to go into the Hall of Fame. The one thing he always had was no fear. And I credit Dad. My dad got to see him get to the big leagues and everything else, and my older brother Greg, who spent a lot of time with him, and the mental part of it, the toughness and the work ethic that to what it takes to be the very best. And when you do fail, you come back up, and that's what exactly he had instilled. And you know, we always talk about no what ifs. Don't let what if I didn't do that other sprint? What if I didn't help this guy in this team or whatever? And I think he took it to heart, and there's no what ifs. He's going in. So now that when Trev's going in and for the Padres and to represent not only our family but the Padre family in the city of San Diego, it's tremendous because, you know, that's what builds legacies.
Trevor being mobbed by his teammates, tiring the side in order in the ninth.
Trev, don't ever change. I know you won't. We're so happy for you, and well-deserving. You know, it's not just given out. You have to earn it, like we've always said, and you've earned it. And enjoy the moment, enjoy the weekend as everybody else in the family in San Diego and everybody else around will. Enjoy it. Love you.
It's clear this weekend will be special for the whole Hoffman family. Well, there's still a lot more to come on Padres POV. Trevor talks about the pride he has for the San Diego community.
I couldn't be more happy to be part of the organization and what we do. It's fun to be involved in the community.
Plus, we relive the greatest moments from a Hall of Fame career.
Trevor Hoffman has become the all-time saves leader in Major League Baseball history.
But first, it's time for your Padres POV trivia. When Trevor Hoffman gets inducted to Cooperstown on Sunday, he will become one of how many relief pitchers in the Baseball Hall of Fame? Is it A, 5, B, 6, or C, 7? Find out after the break. Welcome back to Padres POV. Before the break, we asked you, when Trevor Hoffman gets inducted to Cooperstown on Sunday, he will become one of how many relief pitchers in the Baseball Hall of Fame? If you said B, 6, you are correct. The incredible Padres closer will join the likes of amazing relief pitchers, such as former Padres Goose Gossage and Raleigh Fingers. It's now time to check out the best from Trevor Hoffman's Hall of Fame career and our special Padres Plays of the Week.
Number 51, Trevor Hoffman. Trevor Hoffman has his 300th career save.
Trevor Hoffman has become the all-time saves leader in Major League Baseball history.
500 saves for Trevor Hoffman. He's going to have a plaque right next to yours in Cooperstown someday, Mr. Quinn.
What a joy it was for Padres fans to watch Trevor compete for so many years. Coming up, MLB insider Scott Miller shares with us just how hard it is to get into the Hall of Fame.
Almost 5% of whoever voted, the writers, didn't even vote for Babe Ruth. It is hard to get in.
Plus, Trevor Hoffman shares why it's special to go into the Hall of Fame wearing a Padres cap.
it's all about what's on your chest and not on your back. And, you know, Tony said it well, I'm a Padre.
Don't go anywhere. You're watching Padres POV.
Do it again. 3 balls, 2 strikes on Miles. On the ground, Counsell. And there it is! Trevor Hoffman! A milestone, number 600!
Hey everyone, welcome back to Padres POV. I'm Lisa Lane here in the Padres Hall of Fame next to Trevor's exhibit, wishing we were in Cooperstown. One guy who will be in New York celebrating number 51 for us is our MLB insider, Scott Miller. And I had the chance to sit with him in our Fox Sports studios to find out what the buzz is like around Cooperstown during induction weekend. Now, I am so excited to be joined by Scott Miller, our Fox Sports San Diego MLB insider. Scott, thanks for joining me.
Happy to be here, Lisa. My pleasure.
All right, it is an exciting weekend. So for someone like me who has no clue what it's like to be in Cooperstown during this weekend, how would you describe the buzz and the excitement there right now?
It's palpable. It's such a tiny village. I think the population is only about 5,000 or something like that, yet they're expecting 60,000 people to converge on the place for this weekend. So packed with pedestrians. All kinds of baseball people, both Hall of Famers and non-Hall of Famers, signing autographs up and down Main Street. So it's that kind of atmosphere where they're fans mixed with baseball players, mixed with Hall of Famers, and it's exciting and it's a very cool place. Beautiful upstate New York too.
Can you briefly touch on the history of the Hall of Fame and why that makes it so incredible if you are like Trevor Hoffman getting your name called?
Yeah, I mean, first Hall of Fame class was in 1936. That's how far the Hall of Fame dates. And that first class, Ty Cobb, Babe Ruth, Honus Wagner, Christy Mathewson, and Walter Johnson, those 5 guys. And one thing that I love, the baseball writers have voted from day one. One thing that I love, amazingly, nobody's ever got 100% of the vote. That first year, Ty Cobb got 98.2% of the vote, Babe Ruth 95.1%. So almost 5% of whoever voted, the writers, didn't even vote for Babe Ruth. It is hard to get in.
Yeah, it is very hard if you look at it that way. And so when you think of all of the Hall of Fames that you've covered, do you have a favorite moment, and where do you think watching Trevor get inducted is going to rank for you, especially with your ties to San Diego?
So Trevor, for me, you start with what's on the field, what he did. You talk to the teammates, and you learn that he's a Hall of Fame teammate. We're talking generational talent and a generational class act, and you combine those two, you've got something special.
But we are all so excited, and we look forward to seeing your coverage there as well. So thanks for the time today. I appreciate it.
My pleasure, Lisa. Never a problem talking Trevor. I love to discuss this subject.
Well, one last time before he's officially a Hall of Famer, we finish our interview with number 51 himself, Trevor Hoffman.
Trevor, hi, this is Jack O'Connell with the Baseball Writers Association in New York. And as I told you in Orlando, I've got your phone number, and I'm letting you know that the baseball writers have elected you to the Hall of Fame.
Has this year, would you say, been a very reflective year for you? Now that so many people want to talk about your various milestones, and how have you enjoyed being able to reflect on your career and everything you've accomplished?
It's a great word, reflecting. It's been a little odd. I don't like the attention, to be honest with you, and I certainly feel bad for Swains and Mike every day having to talk about Trevor time, and I'm sure they're kind of be happy when induction's over with. I appreciate all their kind words, but you know, and in all seriousness, I know that the fans of San Diego have enjoyed it, and I hope they've enjoyed it. It's been great to kind of, you know, walk through memory lane a little bit. I'm proud of, you know, being able to look back on the career and look at it a little bit.
And you talked about so far it hasn't been too crazy. I know you've had to do different appearances. When it does get busy, do you find yourself having to remind yourself to just take time to take in the moment? And how difficult is that when there is so much going on surrounding the Hall of Fame?
I think you kind of have to go back into playing mode more than anything, you know, to really do well in the moment, you have to remove yourself from the chaos and all the buzz. So not easily said, or easier said than done, I think, when we get back there and the parades are going on, and the golf tournaments and the different functions they'll have, to maybe take a deep breath, relax. It's nothing that I have to really recreate. It's your story. And so just be yourself, and I think by doing that, I think it'll allow me to enjoy it a little bit easier.
And how fun has it been to share this whole celebration with your family?
They've had a kick with it, no doubt, and I can't wait to kind of take it all in. I think it's really a celebration of my career, but it's a celebration for them to enjoy, and for them to think back of what it was like when watching Dad play when he was five or six, and then running into the locker room after games, and the people that were there along the way. Is going to be a lot of fun for them. But this in itself and the history of the game is going to be on such a grand scale that I think it's going to blow my family away as much as me.
And you mentioned the fans a little bit, and I know when you got the announcement, so many people were talking about how you're not just a Hall of Famer on the field, but you are off the field as well. I think most of the stories I've done with you have been nothing about baseball, but more the things you've done in the community. For you, is that something you knew you always wanted to do? You wanted to be not just a baseball player, but somebody that the community could relate to?
Well, I think I had great examples growing up. My mom and dad provided that platform for us growing up as far as giving back in the community, working at the church, feeding the hungry, Meals on Wheels, things like that. And then getting a chance to watch Glenn, who's virtually 10 years older than me, start his career when I was roughly 7 or 8 years old, and to see what it was like to be a big leaguer and how the Boston Red Sox did things with the Jimmy Fund and what they asked their players to do. And so when I got the opportunity to be a professional athlete, I'm like, this is basically what you do. And so I've had great examples and great tutelage from everyone in the family, and I couldn't be more happy to be a part of the organization and what we do. It's fun to be involved in the community.
And touching on that, how honored are you to go into the Hall of Fame and representing San Diego and the Padres?
It's all about what's on your chest and not on your back. And Tony said it well, I'm a Padre, and I have to kind of take that mantra as well. I'm a Padre, and to know that my plaque, it'll have an SD on its bronze plaque, it's a lot of pride there.
Well, thank you so much, and congratulations. Enjoy all of it.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Well, that does it for this very special Trevor Time edition of Padres POV. On behalf of the entire crew, we do want to say congratulations, Hoffy. You truly are a Hall of Famer on and off the field. From Petco Park, I'm Lisa Lane, and it's time to cue that rollout. The guy with 552 saves as a Padre. I needed this.
Gives me goosebumps just talking about it, so it's awesome.
Good job, Hoffman. Boom.